Hi, my name's Patricia and I post videos on the internet talking about the things that I've been making that I hope to then enjoy wearing. So if that is your type of jam or content, feel free to stick around. You can find me on all the socials with the same handle that I've got here on YouTube, which is Haute Couture. And yeah, I'll just get started. So today has been more than a couple of weeks between updates. I've been really busy throughout the month of September. Work has been pretty full on. That doesn't mean that I haven't had time to make things. It just means that I didn't get the bandwidth to sit down and do a bit of a vlog update around where I'm at with things. So I finally have the chance to do that today. So my goal is to be able to give you a brief update. It's not going to be a long update, and catch you up. So I think to talk through like the format of these, it's kind of like a traditional knitting podcast. You can see I'm in my, I call it like my studio, but it makes it sound really pretentious, but it's just because that's what it is. It's like my creative studio. So I've got a change in angle, so you can see my other yarn block that I was pointing to last time. And you can also see my sewing machine and some, like, a mood board up there. So just to give you a bit of perspective, or not a bit of perspective, different perspective of the space that I've created for myself. And I've been really lucky to create for myself. So finished objects, probably first off the rank, and I should flag, I will try and do like a community shout out for a project that I'm going to talk about a bit later on. But I have finished my blouse number 1 holding the Colour Mart double. I've worn it a couple of times. I will try and put up some images to show you like a post cast off like modification that I had to make to it in order to feel just right wearing it. What that looked like was, after I finished this to the specs length of the pattern, I like bound off loosely in just a standard bind off. I blocked it, I put it on, and I wore it out, and the hem keeps rolling up, and that's the intention behind this pattern. From what I've seen on the photos, is that your hem and your cuffs will do a bit of a roll, which is lovely. There are ways that you can stop that from happening, which includes like an I-cord bind off. I didn't mind it, so I kept it. I didn't do any I-cord bind off. And what that meant was, while I was out, the hem was rolling up quite a bit, more than I expected. So it was looking more cropped than I was hoping for. And what that meant for me was, if I just didn't do anything to it, chances are I wasn't going to be reaching for this top as much as I wanted to, or that I'd hoped for. So I sat down, undid the bind off of the hem, and added an extra like 7 centimeters to it. And so it still is quite cropped, and I'll put up photos, but not super cropped. So that means I can wear it comfortably with jeans. I can wear it comfortably to work. I haven't worn it to work yet because the weather's been quite warm. So I just kind of have to work out how I'm going to rotate it in. It is in a merino, not in a silk, which is what the pattern called for. And yeah, it's like a basic black top. I think people call this bracelet length. I may reblock it. I'm curious to see like how much this will grow if I reblock it and like aggressively stretch it out, because it is meant to be a blouse. I'm less like freaked out about distorting the shape and doing that. I think it'll be fine. So yeah, so this is like a 3rd or 4th wear. It's been great. The Colour Mart yarn is pretty good. I even tried my luck when I was blocking it after I extended the hem. I put it on the wool dry cycle in the dryer, and I was like, it's fine. I only like dampened from here down to reblock the hem, and I think I put it runs at like a 30-minute cycle. Put it in, I checked on it, it was fine, and I kept extending it. I think I ended up doing 3 cycles in order to get all the water out and dry the hem to use the top. So yeah, that was really great. It was a quick finish. I think I might make another one, and I'm contemplating, because I still have a lot of this Colour Mart yarn left. I'm contemplating making one without holding it double. So I was rereading the tag on the inside of the yarn cone, and it actually says it's already a DK, but it does not look like a DK. So my thinking is, like, I've held this super light DK, which is not really a DK, double, and I've created this really nice, like, dense but not super dense fabric. Like, I think if I stretch it out, you can kind of see. So I reckon if I held it single, it might be a bit more sheer, and I'm just kind of noodling that idea around a little bit, and I'll let it percolate. So ratings on the pattern, very good. I think if you are a taller person, take that into account when you are knitting your torso and your sleeves, so that you just get it to hit the right part of your desired length, which is pretty much standard for all patterns, really. I just think we get really caught up in the images of the samples, and it's not always clear, like, what the sizing is of the sample photo, or the height, or the, like, all our proportions between, like, underarm and hip, or the top of the hip bone vary from person to person immensely. So keep those things in mind, and always be okay with just ripping back and fixing it up. So that is my blouse number 1, which I probably will make more. So naturally, I know I had said 2 things in my last episode. I had said I'll hopefully have a sleeve done on my iris, and I'm pretty sure a few episodes ago I said I am not about the summer top life. So this is me, like, calling myself out on that. I have not cast on for the sleeves of the iris at all. I've kind of, like, put it to the side, because I got really caught up with, I have to stop umming. I got really caught up with subscribing to KnitNote. So I am a paid subscriber of the KnitNote app. Part of that meant that you get sent, like, a discount to buy yarn from within the app, which I then did. And I was really intrigued by, I'm going to reach for a bag that's over here so you'll hear some rustling. I was really intrigued by this yarn that's on there that I hadn't seen before, which is by Majo, which is not a brand we get here, and I think they're Norwegian. I have my glasses. I don't have to squint. So, it doesn't say here where it's from. Made in Italy. There you go. Majo. My brain is telling me to say it in Spanish, which would be Majo, but I won't. So I got these, and it is 50% linen, 27% alpaca, 18% cotton, and 5% merino. And 50 grams has around 150 meters. So if you're looking at 100 gram skein, it's around a sport weight. And I got obviously this color, and I got ecro. Sorry, this is like a khaki green, which is definitely my vibe. So I was really curious about the composition. I wanted to know what it was going to feel like. I was open to giving a better quality summer yarn a go. And this is because what I have done is I worked a little bit on my Nenya, which I didn't bring. That's okay. The Nenya by Masena, and I have, it's a tank now. So I have done the work of like seaming together the shoulders, and I've used Holst Coast for that, and I've blocked it. And now I've picked up for one sleeve to keep going, and I'm going to make sleeves like down to around my elbow. I just haven't done it yet. So why am I saying all this? After I blocked the Holst Coast, I had forgotten how lovely it is. It is so soft. It has like a semi-cool hand feel, and it got me really excited about the idea of trying out some better quality compositions of lighter yarns to be able to create things for like trans-season weather, but also just to give it another go. I love sweaters, but I also have seen some really nice like summer and trans-season garments come up, whether it's a cardigan in like a plant fiber mix, or it's a camisole, or it's a tee, just stuff that you can kind of then throw in and rotate. Now, that's helpful for me personally because I work in a corporate environment and I commute to where I work. And so on really, really hot days, I will feel the heat like on the way to the train, and that's pretty much it. Then I get into an office, and the office always has the aircon blasting. And so I don't really get around in a singlet or a camisole or a sleeveless top at work. I also am not generally a fan of those. So I tend to wear like a short sleeve or a 3/4 sleeve. And even then I have a spare shawl in my locker at work, which I will pull out when the aircon's too hot, cold. So it got me thinking, like, can I make some things that can kind of fit that purpose for me, and also help me like revisit the idea of lighter garments. So all that to say that I got a discount offered to buy this yarn. I've acquired the yarn, clearly, and I cast it on for a poppy tee, which I've been really, really wanting to make. And I had been dreaming of making one in Cardiff cashmere, in like Hermes, or the other red, which I think is like, starts with a G, like the darker red. But I decided that I have the pattern. This is a sport way. That pattern calls for a DK. Sometimes you can do like a cheeky push your luck with the gauge. And so I cast it on and have split for sleeves on the poppy tee. Full disclosure, I have not checked my gauge for this, but I am super loving how this is turning out, and I am obsessed with this shoulder detailing. So the yarn is really nice to work with. Yes, it is a plant fiber mix, but it doesn't feel like rope. So when I think back on when I first tried handling plant fiber, I had tried handling like the drops linen, which feels like rope, and I hated it. And then around the same time, I had bought like a kit from Wool and the Gang, which was for a cotton baby blanket, and I hated it. And that was many years ago now, but the memory is as clear as day. So I in the true spirit of giving things a go, I have given it a go. I'm on my second ball now and splitting for sleeves, which is good because I had bought around 9 balls of each. And so I think I'll have some left over, and I might even make like a little tank top that I can wear at home. So super stoked with this. Keen to see how it blocks. I think it'll bloom a little bit in a really nice way. So excited. And I haven't done a full search of the Poppy Tea community patterns or the community projects, but I thought what would be really cool is to hold myself accountable for that promise is to pull it up now and just build it into this conversation rather than leaving it at the end, because then it's a bit more seamless, and I can then talk to you about how my baby blanket is going. So for those who don't know, like that's the PetiteKnit Poppy Tea. I'm not sure that it is size inclusive. She may have expanded the sizing. Let me just check myself on that. So it goes up to a 5XL with the largest bust measurement being up to 150 centimeters. So it's getting there. But it calls for a positive ease of around 5 centimeters. So just keep that in mind. Because I think to be truly size inclusive, it should be going up to 65 inches, I believe. So flagging that up front, that it's like just a fraction short of being considered size inclusive. Now, projects. I'm just using my phone. Projects, cool. Oh, wow. There's some really cool variations. I wouldn't make this variation, but I love how it looks. So this is a striped version that this person's made. It's called they've called it the Festive Summer Poppy. This is by Knit Motif. I'll put the details of the person, and they've used a Noro. That is so cute. I think this is the one that kind of inspired me, and this person's using a boucle. Yeah, it was this one. So this is like what I was thinking in my mind in terms of the Ecro that I'm using at the moment, which is, Ecro is the color, the yarn is Sunny Linen by Majo. And this is by Kalina Makes, and I'll put the details there. So really, really lovely. There's a lot of really cool variations of it. Some people have made it into a long sleeve, which is a really easy way of modifying it, actually. Let me see if I can pull up a good photo and zoom it in. So this person has long sleeved it. It's not bad. I reckon a 3/4 sleeve would look good. And they've used a Lana Grossa. A few people have been using Lana Grossa. A few people have been holding mohair. I went like completely off script and went, I'm going to do a sport weight and not hold any mohair. So yeah, I think those are probably my key call outs. There are so many projects within the project pages of Ravelry for this. I really recommend you check it out. And if you're not sure, like if you have yarn in your stash, but you're not sure in terms of the fiber properties and how they've behaved in the finished object, that is like my favorite place to go check that. So I will use like the search filter functions in the project community page. It's better on the web-based, to be honest. So I will filter it by yarn and try and tick the boxes in terms of the fiber content of the yarn that I might have, or the gauge. So say you didn't want to use a fingering weight and a mohair, you wanted to use a DK. you would filter the search by DK. If you wanted to see what it looked like when two people held it double with a light fingering weight or a lace weight, then you can alter it that way. So just handy because it helps you be resourceful with what you have around you, right? Like I was venting, not ranting, about my, like, all the stuff that I've got here that has like intentions but not time. So this is like a good way of working through that. Now, on top of that, I have been really, really, really proud of myself for continuing to chip away at the comfort baby blanket that I'm making for someone who's expecting, and they're going on leave in December, so I'm still well on track. But I just wanted to show like how beautiful this gradient is going. I'm excited. It makes me happy when I pick this up. It's like so beautiful. Like Chloe from Wool and Works with this advent calendar just smashed it, and I'm so happy that I get to use these minis for something. So at the moment I've got this much left of this mini. I've probably used around 4 minis at the moment. I'm kind of winging it and trying to get to at least 200 stitches widthwise before I then start decreasing. So yeah, really excited in terms of being able to work on that, and kind of also entertaining the idea. And I know, I can hear you before I've even said it. I am aware. I have been thinking about casting on a cardigan. I've said it. That's it. I've said it. It's there. It's out there. I have no lightweight summer cardigans. I have a filled day cardigan that I made in 8-ply merino, which is way too heavy to use in summer. It is dense, on top of the fact that I like have this love-hate relationship with that cardigan because it pills like nobody's bloody business. And every time I wear it, I have to depil it. And every time I depil it, it looks like an absolute grub of a cardigan because it's like a greyish beige colour. So I'm entertaining the idea of like a fingering weight cardigan. I just don't think it'll get done in time to use throughout summer. And that's kind of why I got a lot of this, because I figured I could find like a sport weight or DK. To be fair, I could try and smash out a field day in this. It would just be really open gauge, which is fine for summer. So it's kind of noodling around, but we'll see. I kind of want to get this summer tee done, because then I will have something to kind of throw into my work wardrobe that I can use for summer, which would be nice. And I think separately, I have been like chipping away a little bit at my sewing. Not a lot. I'm looking at my cutting table, which is just behind the camera here. And I've got like a pair of pants that I have cut out, mostly sewn. I just need to do the waistband. And I think the zipper fly, it's got like an elasticated waistband at the back. I'm really, really keen to kind of refine that skill so that I can start to create more pants for my wardrobe. And I have a pile here that is like a deconstructed, I can show you with the band. I went to Savers, I thrifted a couple of skirts, which I can wear for work, but also kind of dress down. I saw this really gorgeous like silver, is it showing up? Yep. a silver lame kind of lame, a silver pleated skirt, metallic silver, and it fit, but it was just like digging in too much in the waist. So I have unpicked the waistband from the skirt. Through that, I've learned to appreciate the construction of it involved like elastic thread, which is how the skirt was keeping its pleats together. What that means for me now when I put it back together with a larger elastic waistband is maybe I'll do gathers instead of having like the elastic in there, and evenly spread that out as I reattach it back to the waistband and just alter it a little bit. So there's got a lot of give because it was a lot. Like I checked and I was stretching it out before I contemplated this mod for it, right? So I think the waistband was measuring like 65 centimeters unstretched. So I am now adding 15 centimeter, or I say 15 will make it like loose on my waist. So might make it 10 centimeters, 13 centimeters larger, like the elastic, and then sew that all together. So I have that sitting there as well. At that same thrift, I also found like a beautiful Italian red skirt, which I can reach for. Which I just need to hem. It's just like a fraction too long. So it's perfect. It's got pockets. It opens up. It's got a zipper in the middle. It's like a Target skirt. I think it's a 10. It might be a 12. I don't really care, to be honest. But I've already gone through picking the length that I want to hem it to. I think I was just deciding whether or not I was just going to sew it, or if I was going to go through the effort of also unpicking the hem and the front. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you the guts so you can get a picture. So you see, this is the front bit that helps the zippers join. And so I've literally just folded up the hem. But there is a way to unpick this to tuck the hem into the front middle seam. That kind of makes it look like you never did anything to it. Now, I'm entirely okay with good enough is good enough. Others might think that that's lazy. I don't care. It's about finding something really lovely that'll go in my wardrobe. And also, can you imagine that with like this top? It's going to look so nice. Like the colors go together really nicely. So very pleased with that. So that's another thing that I'm like chipping away at on the side in between. And then lastly, I've been getting more into sewing and I'm so excited about this. No pun intended. I am reaching for a bag because I paid a visit to the fabric store. Now, there is something as magical about fabric shopping as there is about yarn shopping, because you start to get inspired. And I got inspired by two things: the fabric and by Katie Makes a Dress. Now, if you're not following Katie Makes a Dress on Instagram and you love sewing and you love seeing people make beautiful things, go and follow her. So she wore this amazing dress to I forgot the name of the event. I think it's like the sewing social that was run up in Queensland, Gold Coast. Anyway, it was like a bodycon dress. It had like cords, and there was asymmetry and there was gathering. And I will try and put a photo so you can see what I'm gushing about. Anyway, I got this fabric. So I saw this fabric after I saw the dress. And I was like, I want her dress in this fabric. And bless her, she's so lovely. I was messaging her, asking her for the pattern name. So she's given that to me. And she's also bought this mesh as well and made a separate dress. And so I was able to kind of pick her brain a little bit around what the mesh was like to work with if I want to make that pattern that she wore to the social in this mesh fabric. Because you have to build channels and there's cord that goes into it, which is beautiful. But for mesh, you just need to make sure that it's durable enough to handle it. And so it's good to have these conversations with people who've worked with the fabric that you're about to work with, because they will, let you know if it's sensitive or if it's too thin or if you need to reinforce it or if you need to double it up. So all that stuff. So I'm very excited about that. That's not for immediate. That's kind of in the works and it's in my brain. I'd love to be able to have it to kind of wear out to dinner. Maybe I could be rebellious enough and try and wear it to work. I tend to do that sometimes. And then separately, I also got some really nice, I think this was linen. It was like a linen viscose blend, I think. Just some plain black. Because it gave me like sturdy vibes. Like I could make a simple pattern, and because of the sturdiness of the fabric, I could then have it look really high quality. And that's kind of I guess that's part of my aesthetic, right? I don't mind minimalist, I don't mind simple. I think for me it's about the quality, the durability and the versatility of what I have. And sometimes that can look like investing in things that are a bit more expensive because I know I get to wear them longer. Sometimes it can look like thrifting things that I can tell will get used, but they're also got good quality to them. And sometimes it looks like me making it. So all that to say, the making continues, the inspiration continues. You might have seen I also went a little bit I can't think of the word. I kind of sidestepped a little bit, and I went to an Ikebana workshop, and that was beautiful. That was such a gift to learn that skill. If you have the opportunity and you enjoy like contemplative, intentional, mindful activities, get yourself to an Ikebana workshop. It is so lovely and poetic. The instructor, she's from Japan, and she was explaining to us how it's meant to symbolize, like when you cut a flower, you're killing it. Like the moment you cut the flower, you kill it. And Ikebana is this symbolism of you breathing your life into it to extend its life a little bit longer. And then overlaying that is this beautiful appreciation for the imperfect and taking things where they're at in that moment and appreciating how perfectly imperfect something is and the beauty within that imperfection. So anything from like a crooked stem to an unopened flower to like odd shapes, like moving away from this idea of uniformity and more into embracing the differences. And I think that's really beautiful I think that's why a lot of us have different creative outlets that we find fill our cup. I know I certainly do. And I think the fact that I practice knitting and sewing and I'm drawn to these creative things was really complemented with that philosophy that sat behind Ikebana. And it's such a simple, like low-key activity to do. You are arranging flowers in a way that complements their natural shape, and you're appreciating what that is with the flower that you have in that moment. And she was describing and reiterating that it's environmental because you use seasonal flowers, and it's ecological, again, because you're using seasonal flowers, and you shouldn't be going out of your way to go to flower markets. You should be using what's around you to brighten up your space. So I thought that was really lovely. And so I think I'll end it there because it's a nice note to end it on. And I will try and be back to update you on how the poppy tea goes and on how the blanket is going and on anything else that pops up. Who knows? Maybe I'll have some sewing things to show you as well. So until next time, look after yourselves and each other, and I'll see you soon. Bye.